That's right, folks. It's that time again. It is time for the FTFL Weekly Update. My name is Brett Sieber, of course, the host of the show, the owner of the Macho Madness, who after this week, feeling a little bit less sadness. We're going to get into a few little updates, dive into the games. I'm going to give you one good minute. We got the stud of the week, the dud of the week, Diesem update, which I think I found a pretty good one. I didn't realize it at first. When I noticed it just before I was going over my notes, in the words of Ric Flair, woo! Because it's a doozy, I tell you what. First off, Duke Johnson update. As of the filming of this episode, I don't know his fate. I saw that he got cut. I wept. I wept for Duke Johnson. I don't know if someone's got him on a waiver claim. Tomorrow, we will know the fate and the future of Duke Johnson. Will he fulfill his drive for 5? Next up, don't know if you saw this, Emmanuel Sanders earlier this week dropped by Ryan Diesem to pick up Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace has been playing great. Now, my brother called me. Andy says, hey, did you see someone dropped Emmanuel Sanders? Who dropped Emmanuel Sanders? So they promptly picked up Emmanuel Sanders. Mike Wallace this week, not so hot. Emmanuel Sanders, wow, what a week. On the bench, man, the Emmanuel Sanders saga. Some Diesem award kind of hints. Now, we really got to see how this plays out. But a really interesting week if you're Emmanuel Sanders. Anybody want Trevor Siemian? Anyone? Anyone? Quarterback play has been, and for some of you down, you might want to look into him a little bit. I'll tell you who's not on the free agent market. Christine Michael. A few years ago when he's a rookie, I drafted him. I saw him then. I said, I like this guy. Didn't work out. Maybe, just maybe, this is finally his year. After this week, we have no undefeated teams left. We have no teams left who don't have a win. Everyone is within one game of each other. And let's get to the games from this week. First off, the 2-0 Manamana versus the 0-2 Bazinga. Could Bazinga get off the schneid? Did Manamana just continue to steamroll through yet another opponent? If you're Bazinga, it wasn't great, but it was good enough. DeMarco Murray, 18.5. Justin Tucker put on 18. Everyone else had at least 4. Now, 4 is not great again, but it was enough this week to put him into the win column. And again, he survived, leaving Emmanuel Sanders on the board. If you're Manamana, the engine ran out of steam this week. The running backs, though, continue to shine between David Johnson and, well, his other running back. Can't read my writing. 31.5 points. Now, that was still Garrett Blunt on the bench. So you're kind of going, well, what are we going to do? Now, the one running back that didn't really live up to the hype this week, C.J. Anderson, only had a paltry 2.5 points. Now, Jeff entered Monday night. Brandon Cooks, 9.5, 10.5 point difference. Thought, well, Cooks has been on fire. 1 point. 1 point. Didn't go Jeff's way this week. He falls to 2-1. On to the next game. Oh, look. It's my game. Now, it's the rematch of week 1. Linkowitz versus the Macho Madness. Now, week 1, it was close. But it was low scoring. Now, it was kind of close again this week, but man, we blew the doors right off the place, didn't we? For the Macho Madness, 3 running backs combined for 42.5 points. Now, Jarvis Landry added 21.5 on his own. Now, the one running back we picked up this week, Shane Vereen, came up, gave this team a great motivational speech, went on to score 13.5 points, and then promptly tore his tricep. Our hearts go out to you, Shane. You're in our thoughts. You're in our prayers. We're going to hold out hope that maybe, just maybe, you see the field before the end of the year. If you're Linkowitz, again, a good week, a great week, the 3rd highest score of the league this week. If you're Linkowitz, the problem at this point is, for 3 weeks in a row, your defense has led the scoring for your team. Every week, your defense had the highest single point total on your team. That's amazing. Everyone wants a high-scoring defense, but when that's your highest scoring person on your team, you've got to figure things out. And I'm telling you, Diesem Award nomination, we might hear a little bit more about our good friend Big John, who, by the way, for years running now has had the most creative team name in the FTFL. Next up, the 0-2 Pack Attack versus Adam Swartz. I'm hung at 1-1. Pack Attack get off the schneid with a monster week, 120.5 points over the 95 from Adam Swartz. Breeze and Ingram combined for 40. Demarius Thomas added 19, but let's be honest, the big contribution this week for Eric's team came up on the way of the Kansas City defense, 33 points. Oh my goodness, we haven't seen that kind of dominating performance since 2003 when I won the FTFL trophy. Now, if you're Adam Swartz, pretty solid numbers. 95 is going to get you in a lot of games and probably have you win a lot of games. LaShawn McCoy and Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones, where did he come from? Combined for 54.5. You throw in Philly's points, that was 70.5 points from 3 guys. The rest of the team took the week off. Zach Miller on the bench had a cool 20. It wouldn't have got him the win had he played him or not. Now, we have come to the part of the week where I'm going to give you 1 good minute. I'm going to fire up the clock again here just to go through, to make sure it is 1 solid minute. We're not going to cheat you on that, I've already told you. And so here we go. I love fantasy football, but I think even more than fantasy football, I love the NFL. Man, I can't wait for the season to start every single year. And I think the game is absolutely perfect, which I don't get why the NFL feels that they always have to be constantly tweaking rules to make it better. You own a day of the week. It's as good as it's ever going to be. Point in case, the extra point. At no point did you ever need to change it. There wasn't an outcry. There wasn't an outpouring of support. There wasn't people leaving email messages, voicemail messages, lining up outside the doors of your office in New York City, demanding that the extra point change. But no, you changed it anyways. And all you did was add more stress to a fan base that doesn't need it. The Minnesota Vikings. Wow, great team. Kicker, not so much. That extra point needed to stay where it was. It was pointless to change it. Keep the NFL great. It's already amazing. Don't tweak stuff for the sake of change. I hate that. Don't change for the sake of change. All right, that's been my 1 good minute. Sorry, Viking fans. I know Blair Wall is a touchy subject. We're going to finish out then here with the last couple games. 2-0. Titties and Balls, Ryan Diesem's team versus Cray America, who was 1-1. Some real heavy smack talk before this week started. I'm going to end your undefeated streak. Well, he did. Diesem's team didn't really show up. We'll get into that in a moment. If you're Cray America, 32 points from Matthew Stafford. Almost buzzsaw worthy, not quite. Sims and Tevin Coleman combined for 40.5 points. Not much else. Dez was the only one over 6 points, but it didn't matter because Diesem's team flat out didn't show up. Travis Kelce had 13.5. Andrew Luck had 16. They were the only people in double digits. That was it. Carolina defense played against the not ever vaunted Minnesota offense and got 2 points. 2 points. Pitiful. Pitiful. Left Hyde on the bench. Of course, he dropped Emmanuel Sanders. None of that would have mattered. He was going to lose. He falls to 2-1. In the last game of the week, the Radioactive Monkeys, who were also 2-0, taking on the Architect, who was 1-1. For the second straight week, the Architect comes out the gate just swinging. Second straight week, over 100 points. 6 out of the 9 players on his team scored in double digits. And he scored over 100, again, with a 0 from Calvin Benjamin. His team was looking unstoppable. Now, if you are the Radioactive Monkeys, a week ago you had the stud of the week. He could have been possibly the dud of this week. Forte and Riddick combined for 10.5 points. It was his lowest point total of the year, and he even had 20 points from one player, Doug Baldwin. Newton was the only other guy in double digits. This was definitely not Salty's week. Sproles with 21 on the bench, but it really wasn't going to matter all that much. Now, come to the time we're going to do stud of the week and dud of the week. It's all defensive, man. We were all over the board with defense this week, from huge performances to terrible performances. Stud of the week has to go to Kansas City Chiefs, 33 points. Almost the 3 away from the single highest individual score of the year, and it helped Eric pick up his very first victory of the season. The dud of the week, yeah, Carolina, 2 points. Minnesota, they can't even run the football. They might score less than 10 offensive touchdowns this year, and you got 2 points, and you cost your owner his undefeated season. Now, speaking of the owner, the Diesem, a Diesem update. We can talk Emmanuel Sanders, and I thought that's where this was going to go. But you know what? Nuh-uh. There's an individual who, at this current moment in time, is carrying 4 quarterbacks. John Linkowitz. 4 quarterbacks. That's right up there with Adam Swartz, 8 running backs. That could cost you. All right, looking ahead to next week. Kind of interesting stuff about to happen here. Every single game features a 2-1 team facing a 1-2 team. Meaning, at the end of next week, we could have all 10 teams in the league at 2-2. Parity. Running wild. Kramerica will take on the Macho Madness. Pack Attack takes on Mana Mana. The Radioactive Monkeys host the Bazinga. Titties and Balls will take on Blinkowitz, and the Architect will take on I'm Hung. This has been the FTFL Weekly Update. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all again next week. Until then, go Pack, go.